Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a tier list Tuesday. We were gone all of November. It's December now. We are briefly back just for this quick tier list Tuesday, and then in about 3 weeks, I'm hoping right after Christmas time, right around Christmas time, we'll be back, not in the full swing of things, but like back-ish, student teaching will be over by then. I'll be looking for a real job and whatnot, but, there will be a nice little window of me not being busy. But I wanted to give you guys a little treat because I recently myself got a little treat. I watched the show Arcane on Netflix. I watched the first episode and was like, I don't know if I Jones with this art style, I don't know if I Jones with League of Legends, but my good friend Mr. Joe of Mr. Joe's Baseball Show, check him out in the other channels listed, my friend's channels. He's great, does baseball stuff like the baseball channel. He was like, you gotta keep with it, dude, Arcane is good. And I finished it last night and it was good. And I thought it would be a perfect show to do a character tier list of, because I gotta tell you, some of the best character work I've ever seen any television show. And, we're only a season in, so highly recommend it. I'm gonna try and keep this as spoiler free as possible. There are just some characters whose existences may or may not be considered a spoiler. I don't know how that feels for you, so I recommend the show. If you don't want to know anything about it, leave now. In my brief character descriptions, though, I will keep them spoiler. So, without further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna start with Silko. I'm not putting him in the C tier, I'm just putting him there to discuss him. Silko is, he's like one of the antagonists of the show, if not the antagonist, depends on how your political affiliations with the show's world is. But I think he's one of the best characters in the show. He's very complex. His relationship with Vander, his relationship with the Undercity, it's all very interesting. It's very he's got like mob boss energy, but like in a sense that like where the mob boss like really does, you can tell the mob boss cares about where they're from and the people close to them. It's interesting. He cares about one character very much, which is a relationship we'll talk about when we get to that character. But I think he's one of the best characters in the show. So I know it's early, but I'm gonna slap him right into the wonderful tier. I think that is where he belongs. Talking to Joe about it last night. I think he might be one of the best in the show. It's gonna be tough when we get to this part, the organizing portion of our tier list. Next up is Echo. Echo's pretty cool. I like what Echo has done with his little hideout. Kid Echo, was fun. He was like the outsider of the four main kids. He was like the secret fifth kid. How Venus is the fifth Ninja Turtle. Like he was like the fifth Ninja Turtle. So, but after the time jump, great character. Lots of interesting things going on. I look forward to his character a lot in the future. And on top of that, he had a really cool battle sequence that was like invoking like elements of the past, as well as like really artistic music stuff. It was very cool. I think I'm not gonna call him a bad character at all, but I think he's got lots of room to grow. I think we haven't seen the most of Echo yet. For right now, I think I'm gonna put him in the B tier. But I would not be shocked if his upward momentum brings him into the A, or even wonderful with later seasons. Next up, we got Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger is also kind of a character that I think we haven't seen that much of yet, even though he's like a big element in the show. He's like one of the political figures of Pilferton or Pinkerton. Oh my god, how do I not know the name of the city? City of Progress. He was the founder of the City of Progress. But he really just kind of works as a roadblock this season for everything Jace tries to accomplish, which is an important thing. He needs that character. But then again, he, later in the seasons, like where he ends up, I think there's room for a lot more interesting development of his character. So I think I'm gonna put him maybe in the B tier. I think he's got, places to go, but for what I've seen this season, he was pretty good, right in the B tier. And Bessa, Mel's mother. I feel like we should do Mel first before we do Mel's mother, right? Mel is like, I don't know if that's what she's gonna say, but Mel is the best political character in the show as far as the City of Progress goes. She knows exactly how to manipulate certain people to get what she wants. She starts out doing that with Jace, and then actually, whatever happens there, it's hard to tell how much their relationship is business, how much of it is actual, we respect one another as individuals, and what the relationship goes through from the beginning of the show to the end, where she's like, clearly I'm better than you, and then it develops. Again, I'm not gonna really say where it goes, but she's really interesting. It's hard to tell where she is at the time. So I think it's really important for like an interesting political aspect of a show. And on top of that, I mean, I'm not gonna spoil the show, but that 9th episode, how she talks with her mother, and then her mother is like, you should do this, and then she thinks about that, she ultimately makes a decision, and then there are almost immediate repercussions of whether or not she listened to her mother. So I just think there's a lot of really cool stuff going on with this character. And her mother, Mbessa, again, late member in the show. I think next season's gonna be a lot more of her. For now, I think I'll put her in the C tier. I'm a little less interested in her than I am in like Heimerdinger and Echo. But again, I think crazy upward momentum on this character, especially if like with the dynamic between her and her daughter, if that flourishes at all next season. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that could happen, especially like, you know, she's from another nation. We haven't really seen other places. We've only seen City of Progress. I feel like it's Piltover. I'm confident, but I'm gonna keep saying the City of Progress, as I know that's not wrong. So she's a connection to the outside, which I think is very cool, and I'm intrigued to see where that goes. Jace might be my favorite character in the show. I'm definitely thinking he's a wonderful tier character. He is, you know, a scientist, and his inventions throw him into a political state. And it's clear that he has no idea how to navigate this new political world he finds himself in, but then over the course of the show, he discovers, okay, this is what politics is. It's not what I thought it was originally, but I have to adapt. I'm gonna get what I want to happen. And I think between that and the Hex Tech, I think there's so much that Jace brings to the table, not to mention he's voiced by Dan from Lucifer, which I picked up on the 3rd episode, and I was like, oh my god, it's Dan. But great character, possibly my favorite, possibly the best. That's something that we're gonna have to discuss when we get up here. But overall, I think he's definitely, he's one of the main characters of the show. He's like I would call him Piltover, the City of Progress. I would call him the main character for that side of the coin, you know, like the above city world. Next up is Victor. That is Jace's partner in all the Hex Tech stuff. Is he an heir or wonderful? It's hard to tell. Victor's really complex. He's a student. He also studied under Heimerdinger like Jace did, but he isn't introduced to Jace until Jace is, you know, like told his science will never work by Heimerdinger. And then from that point, there's this like, you know, I think your ideas are good. I want to help you succeed. And they work together to get that ball rolling. But he also has this whole, like, there's something wrong with him. Like, physically, he's got an illness that's, like, undisclosed. But it gets worse over the course of the season. And his need for the development of Hex Tech to go further becomes more and more important as Jace gets more caught up with the political side of things. He finds himself more alone in the lab, which leads to some fun, twisted ideas that I think another character I think is gonna like really blow up next season. So I think just to give him that room to go up next season, I think I'm gonna put him in the A tier now. Caitlyn, Cupcake, this is a tough one. She's a great character, definitely not going anywhere here or down. She's like, her and Vi's relationship is the driving force of the latter 6 episodes. It's them investigating the Undercity because Vi wants to figure out what happened to it. There was a big building explosion. She's trying to investigate that. She needs someone who knows the Undercity, so she gets Vi out of jail. And there is this whole, like, you know, oh, I'm from the Undercity and I don't like people who are from the Overcity. I'm from the Overcity, I don't like the Undercity. Vi isn't really, not Vi, Caitlyn doesn't really think people from the Undercity are bad. She's like, all people are great, and Vi's like, nah, once you see this difference, you're gonna feel like garbage. I think that's a really good driving force. I think her marksman ability is really cool. I'm pretty sure she's one of the, I think there's 7 or so characters in the show that are heroes in the game. It's Jace, Victor, Heimerdinger, Echo, and she's one of them. She's a sharpshooter. I think that's really cool. I think that she is a good character, but I think that, like, as far as, like, that core 3-4 characters go, she's in the weaker end of the core characters. But, like, again, the core characters are all definitely in the top tier. I think I'm gonna put her in the A tier for now. I think she's good. Again, season 2 might prove her better. Vi is definitely I can't give her character points for this, but she
There are
is
so many ways to TGIF the holidays.
Excuse me.
Dinner out,
Who
toasting
said I
moments,
care about?
big or small.
Hey,
this
hey,
season, make
hey!
it a double.
I don't want to
With
make
our
it a double.
ultimate flavor combinations
Why are you
on
making
one
music?
plate.
Excuse me.
TGI
I'm not
Fridays.
sponsored by TGI Fridays. Get out of here. I don't care about going to Europe. That was annoying. Anyway, let's make it a double at TGI Fridays, shall we? Vi. She is the driving force for the fight sequences in the show for the most part, and they are all incredible. And everyone that she's in is incredible. And I gotta give her a lot of points for that. She's got a really rough and tough personality. She's like she's the main character from the Undercity, I would say, her and her sister. Whereas, you know, Jace is the main character from the Overcity, as I've said. And her relationship with her sister, her relationship with Caitlyn, her relationship with the Undercity versus the Overcity, it's all very good. I think she's about to shift from being like everything that happens above ground sucks. But right now, she's actually really... She's a cool character and I like her a lot, but her viewpoints are very one-dimensional because she was going on an arc to shift, and then, you know, there's the downshift. And I think that she will eventually be an easy pick for a wonderful tier character, but I think she's high A tier for now. We'll, you know, we'll shift her from down here to probably up here when we shift. But I don't think she's quite a wonderful tier character like her sister, Jinx. Jinx is another runner for the best character in the show. Very complex. She's like a Harley Quinn type character, but not that she's not Harley Quinn. I love Harley Quinn, but way more complex. Like, there's reasons for this character to be crazy, and they show themselves often, and the things she does that are crazy are way more like, oh, that is messed up, than like, oh, look, she hit someone with a hammer. It's like, she does some pretty messed up stuff. She talks to her, and she sees people in her head. It's very, very cool character, and her relationship with Vi versus her relationship with Silko is, I think, my favorite element of the show. The whole time she is wondering, is my sister really, does she love me, or is she simply here because of the political problems going on between the Under and the Overcity, and all she cares about is helping Caitlyn? Meanwhile, Silko, the character known for manipulating people, actually gives this front, whether it's real or not, I will leave to you to decide once you watch, of loving Jinx, and she's torn between the character who loved her first, her sister, but kind of doesn't anymore, versus the character who didn't love her at first, but kind of took her under his wing, and she's torn between the old and the new. And change is one of this show's biggest things, how the characters change in that time jump in episode 3 and 4. And decisions this character makes and is forced to make are heartbreaking and incredible, and like, it's so good. Great character. High contender for top slot. Benzo is Vander's like right-hand man. He doesn't do much in the show. He's cool. He's like Echo's kind of adoptive father. You know, you gotta have a right-hand man. There's a few right-hand man characters on the show, but Benzo is probably going to be let me look around down here. Yeah, Benzo doesn't do much. I think Benzo's going to be an unbearable character in the sense of we grade on a curve here. There's nothing wrong with Benzo, but when most of your cast is this level of characters, you gotta know who's going to end up down here and whatever. I don't know how different the show would have been without Benzo. Benzo, I can't spoil what happens with or to Benzo, but his only real driving force in the show is like one event that involves him. So good character, but again, in the realm of we grade on a curve here, there needs to be someone down here, and it'll probably be him. Maybe we'll move him up to D, but he's definitely a down here character. Vander is another A tier character at least. Maybe I'll move him up. He is before our time jump, he is like the political force of the Undercity, but he's like a good coin. Him and Silko are good buddies, brothers. And they had their aspirations for the Undercity, but Silko is more like, we need to put our foot down, whereas Vander is like, the best thing we could do is have peace with the Overcity. And of course, that's a clash of characteristics, but it's his morals that he instills in his 4 adoptive kids of Vi, Jinx, and the next 2 characters we'll talk about. that are the first 3 episodes driving force, and it's really important that when we go to that flash to the future and how Vi and Jinx have changed, like hearing him and seeing him really impacts the show. Great character. Not enough of him. I would like to have seen him more. Flagor and Milo, I'm going to do these 2 together. I think these are both D tier characters. They are good. They get our story driving. They are the friends of Vi and Jinx and Echo in the first part of the show. But they are really just like more kids, you know? Like Vi and Jinx are clearly the ones that matter and the ones that make all the decisions and the ones with the cool hair colors. And these guys are there. They help them accomplish goals that it would probably have been hard to have accomplished without more bodies. They have a major impact on Jinx and Vi's personalities in the 3rd episode, and they kind of work as driving forces for our incredible character. So important in the scheme of if you take one gear out of a giant machine, it might not work as well, but you know, the giant machine does what the giant machine does. Thank you to the gear, but we're here for the machine. Good characters though. We also have, what's your name? Grayson, Officer Grayson. She is Vander's like connection to the overworld. She's another character. I'll put her in the C tier. She's not in the show too much, but she shows, like, again, she's like the, listen, I'm from the Overcity, but like I realize the people down here matter, and I want peace more than that. And it's the people that are working close to her and close to Vander, like Silko, like the character we're going to discuss in a second, Marcus, that have different opinions of how things should work. And it's those inside issues that really make the show interesting. And she's also got some good sharpshooting skills. She has a history with Caitlyn. She's in the show only a little bit more than like Benson is, but like just when she's on screen, she has a presence that's important. Feel that it's important, so I'm gonna give her a little bit of a boost. Marcus is a little bit better of a character than her. I'm gonna put him in the B tier. Marcus is like, you know, that corrupt cop who wishes he never got this far gone, but is he too far gone to ever do good again? And you can tell he wants what's best, but he feels that he's defined by one decision he's made and that it would be too hard to undo that decision. And the transformation he goes through over the course of the show and how much you see him struggling with it is very good. And it makes me really interested in, again, he's a great political element of the show because, you know, there needs to be a head of the police force, and you've got someone representing the police who take orders from someone who wants good to happen, but on the other side is trying to help people that want bad to happen. All the while we see other characters who are like showing them the good they can do. Like he constantly has to look at Caitlyn trying to solve these mysteries and do the best she can, and it's a constant reminder like he could be doing that, but he isn't. And it's a really good development. I think he's a B tier character for sure. Next up is Finn. Finn is one of the underlings of Silko. He's one of the other big evil leaders that we have. And, you know, he's cool, but he really only exists to show that there are other important characters down there. Like, Silko's not just the only one in charge. It's like a little bit of, like, the head of different families, much like there is above. There's the 7 families in the City of Progress, and under the table, I think 5 of them. And he is unsatisfied with Silko's progress in getting them to be more powerful in the above city, and he does some questioning. So he's really only there to drive that element. Much like Marcus, as there be some questioning in the above city, Finn kind of does that below, but it's a little less important below because there's less question to Silko's rule than there is to like what's going on with all these ambassadors and how much decision they each have and how their handshake deals under the table. Because the handshake deal under the table in the Undercity is over the table, you know? It's like, hey, yeah, I'll sell your stuff and kill some people. We don't care, we're the Undercity. Whereas, like, those ideas are still there in the above city, but it's very, like, hush-hush. Not bad, though. Singe is a late game character, but very cool. I think he's got a lot of wiggle room for future seasons. He's like the crazy doctor that messes with the natural to make it unnatural, and as a result, who knows what's gonna happen. He has a big hand in the shimmer, which is like the evil drug of the whole place, and he makes some twisted decisions, but twisted decisions in order to make progress with science happen. And he works as like the I guess I would call him the opposite coin to Heimerdinger, and you see that a lot with Victor, who flips between the way Heimerdinger would do something and the way that Singed would do something, and the route he goes down, what influence that has on other people. But yeah, I think he's a good character. With again, he was introduced probably in a similar time to Mbessa, and I think the forward momentum for the future seasons big here. Next up is Silko. I think it's Silko. She is Silko's right-hand man. I think she's a really cool character. She's probably one of my favorite characters in the show. But again, I think there's more of a where is she going to go after the season element to her. I think she's either a high B tier or a low A tier. But I think I'll put her here for now. Her arm, super cool weapon. Her relationship with Vander versus her relationship with Silko is also really interesting. I was texting Mr. Joe about that. I found that her, like, the way she handles loyalty to different characters is very interesting. There's a great scene with Finn, a great scene with Silko, great with Vander. She really has like a hands and a bunch of pies, but you can tell which ones are the ones she's going to focus on, and it's, makes for a great character development. And then, unfortunately, ending on a low note, but Skye, fine character, but again, not much of a force. Very similar to Benzo in that she does one important thing. It's mainly, how does the thing that happens with this character affect a different character? How does this thing that happens with Benzo affect Vander and Silko? How does the thing that happens with Skye affect Victor? Her whole character arc is that she's a lab assistant that has a crush on. There's not much more to it. So, again, fine character, nothing wrong with her, but on a curve, if you don't have degrees of madness that are singed from familial issues deep in political intrigue, a crush ain't bad, but it's not really gonna get the job done. So that's our list. Let's quickly figure out how we want to stack them. I think Benzo is a better character than Skye, so I think that tier is good. These two are exactly the same. I do not mean to put one ahead of the other. I think they are like literally, they're the two friends. And I would agree that they're probably more important than Finn. So I'm going to leave this tier the same as well. This tier is interesting. It depends on how much do we want to let forward momentum affect this tier, because it either means that it goes like this or it goes like this. Because I think these two are going to have a stronger presence in the next season. I think I'm actually going to do, like, even though it makes no sense, because I think she is a strong enough character and her presence in this season is big enough, whereas his is a little diluted. These two have huge future potential, but I think that she has more of a presence in the season than he does. And then I think that the actual impact that Grayson has on this season is a little more important than his impact on this season outside, like, the last episode or two. So I think this is a safe order. I think that's the one I'm gonna go with. This is a tough one. It's like, we have a lot of characters who their future in the show, their season 2 style is going to be huge. We have a lot of political elements here. We got a lot of right hands here. I think I'm going to put Silko at the front, then Echo, then Heimerdinger, then Marcus. Where the show leaves her is, it's questionable how important she's going to be next season, but she was really good this season with her, her loyalty things that I discussed, and I think if she goes down that route further next season, it'll be great. Echo's in a very similar boat. Like, he had some great moments. He had that sick fight. He's got really cool stuff going on. But again, I want to see where he goes. He's definitely going to get some, it's not as much as a question mark with Echo. He's clearly going to have more to do next season, as will Heimerdinger. They both end in very similar places that shows, okay, they're going to do something next season, but what it is, we don't know. And Marcus, had that whole, he's like the driving force of the police drama. That was a huge impact on the show. But, you know, when you get to these main characters, like, the driving force of police drama isn't as important as the characters whose personal dramas we care about. These tiers are rough. Like, all 5 of these characters are absolutely incredible, and it's very hard to stack them. I'm thinking Caitlyn's at the bottom, which is crazy. She's like probably in the, I would say she's a main 5 character, maybe even main 4. Depends on how you want to cut like where villains are in a main character arc. But like is a villain more of a main character than a main character in a party character? You have like an ensemble cast. Like, oh, if I'll use Infinity War. Okay, like, are the Avengers all more important than Thanos, or only some of them more important than Thanos, or are none of them more important than Thanos? It's kind of rough, you know? It's like, how do you cut? Where in the Avengers lineup do you say Thanos is more important? Take the main 6 Avengers, the original 6, and then do Thanos? Do you go, oh, you know what, Black Widow and Hawkeye might be less important than Thanos? Do you go, Thanos is more important than all of them? Tough to tell. So I'd say she's in that 4 or 5. I punched the mic, sorry. She's in that spot as far as importance to the show goes, but I think as far as character goes, she's around here. U4. I think I will go Vander, Victor, Vi, Mel. As far as character development goes, I think Vi's the main character. I think that's who you would call the main character of the show. But, you know, I'll start down here. Vander, incredible driving force at the beginning of the show, really instills a lot of wisdom on our characters, as well as sets up the ground for where this political spectrum go, who are the current players, who are the future players, how would a shift from one player to another impact the relationship with cities. Great character, great setup. Victor is one of the most interesting characters, but he doesn't have a lot of character interactions. The only real interactions are with like, Jace, Heimerdinger, and Singed. So I want to see what more of an impact he has on the world around him, which is probably going to happen next season. But his personal issues are very unique, very interesting. So I think just outside the top 5, great character, definitely has potential to be a top 5 character. Just, you know, I think he needs a little more time to develop. Moving into the top 5 characters, I think you've got Vi, probably one of our main characters of the show. Incredible, rough and tough personality. A little one-noted, but with years of abuse of your one-noted mind being confirmed and confirmed and confirmed, it's understandable that it would take a long time to change. So I think over the course of the show, she might become one of the most dynamic characters, but right now she kind of is in a similar place to where she was. Mel, man, like I've said, her political intrigue, it's too good. The way she plays chess with her court and the Undercity and her family, it's incredible. It's some of the best political character I've ever seen in any show. So top of the A tier for sure. Honestly, like if she's even a quarter as good as she was this season, next season, probably in the wonderful tier. Jace, Jinx, and Silko. This is hard. We have basically the main character. We have the political main character of the Undercity, the political main character of the Overcity, and then the actual main character of the Undercity, along with Vi. And you know, down here, the actual main character of the Overcity is probably how I'd break that down. But yikes, this is tough. Like, Jace's political journey from scientist to basically, you know, a board member is incredible, and the moments that he has where he'll go, oh, I shouldn't be making these important decisions, it's really be a team effort, to I don't give a crap what any of you think, I'm making these big decisions, to the I'm willing to get my hands dirty to do what needs to be done, to the now I'm actually up close and personal with the effects of being a politician, and I don't want any more of this. It's crazy how many different routes he goes down, not to mention he has so many connections to other characters that I'll take ahead. Silko, you know, antagonist, pretty basic antagonist plan. I want to, you know, iron fist of my Undercity in order to get it to where I believe it deserves to be with its shimmer and its, I think it should be important. And I don't want to do what my brother did. Brother, I think? I don't know if they're actually brothers. I think it's like a, you know, like the same way Vi and Jinx are sisters. And all of that involves me doing these dark things, but at the end of the day, this place is gonna, you know, be great. And it's all, I'm gonna make it happen. And then Jinx, who is this absolutely troubled character with so much impact from her relations to other, even though she really only has relations with like a handful of these other characters, but they're enough to really mess her character up. And then she's being used as this real central piece of the political drama as like a person goes, because she is the one that the Overcity is looking for, and you know, she also obviously is the one who gets the job done for Silko. So it's very, very interesting how her dynamics with all these characters, even when she hasn't directly met them, she barely knows Jace, but she's a driving force for him. It's very interesting. I think I'm gonna do that, which is crazy because I think coming into this I thought Silko was gonna be the biggest character, but the more I talk about all these characters, I think this is what I'm comfortable with. Silko is an absolutely incredible antagonist, and the way he actually has emotions tied to other characters is great. His relationship with Jinx is my favorite in the show, I think. As far as, not that it's a good or bad relationship, like just the, you know, the way that they interact with each other is my favorite. And you know, his plans are simple. You know, make this city great again. They're using by any means necessary, and you know, his role in the political aspect of the show, which I think is the best aspect of the show. That and maybe these two's relationship are the two best, like the best part, like the reason he's sticking around. He's undeniable. He's a huge, important character. Round of applause. Jace is literally just the flip side of Silko's coin in like the show you're watching. Like, you know, he ends up being like, you know, he's one of the faces of the Overcity's political things. They're them unbeknownst to each other. They're the ones fighting back and forth. You know, he's making the orders that affect him. He's doing the crimes that affect him. And, you know, like I said, this political aspect, and these are two of the driving forces. But you know, solo doing their own thing, I think Jinx is the best character. I think everyone in the world that's watched Arcane might agree with that one. She is so unique. She is so much nuance goes into her character. Her relationships with all these other characters, like, has such a heavy impact on her. She's got just an incredible fight scene. A lot of incredible fight scenes. Like, her tech is really cool. How she feels about the other characters that relate to the character she relates to. There's so much there. Episode 9 is so good, and it's like driven by some of her decisions. And honestly, like it's good. How good Jinx is portrayed in this show is actually going to impact how I view like Harley Quinn and Joker going forward, because I think she is a perfect crazy character, and like crazy for crazy's sake versus the amount of trauma they put this character through to justify being crazy. It's so impressive, and her genuine responses, like, they feel real. Like, they feel like if I was in that situation and it broke me, I would be thinking the way she's thinking. Even, like, maybe not like the hearing voices and seeing things, but like the actual, like, I don't know who to choose moments. And it's so well done that I think I would be remiss to not give her the top spot. That's our list. We've got Sky and Benzo, then we've got Finn, and then Milo and Clagor in no particular order. Singed, Grayson, Ambessa, Marcus, Heimerdinger, Echo, Savika, Caitlyn, Vander, Victor, Vi, Mel, Silko, Jace, Jinx. I practiced for like 20 minutes before the video started to make sure I knew everyone's name. But yeah, that's the list. I think it's pretty good. Let me know what you think in the comments. There's some shifts you wouldn't make. Have you watched Arcane? Are you gonna watch Arcane due to what I've told you here? Please like the video. If you want to share the video with your friends, that'd be excellent. Check out Dinger City in the comments. If you want to watch more baseball than Arcane reviews, check out Mr. Joe, as I said, in the other channels. And yeah, honestly, I just want to know what you guys think of this show. So if you're gonna watch it, let me know you're gonna watch it, and you can always come back into this video. I'm considering playing around with some reviews for this channel, like more so like an actual review of how a show is done or a movie. And Arcane's certainly one that I'm thinking about, especially if this video pops off. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments. But other than that, I will see you next time. I don't know when the next video is gonna be, but they're coming back sooner than you think. So I hope you like this little early December treat, but more is coming around. Peace out.